Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Badadhari Jaya Giri Badadhari Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Badadhari Jaya Giri Badadhari Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Ashtatarasata His Divine Grace Labai Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Ashtatarasata His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shri Gaura Bhakta Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shama Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhana Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dhama Ki Jai Shri Mayapur Dhama Ki Jai Shri Nilachal Jagannath Puri Dhama Ki Jai Ganga Maya Ki Jai Jamuna Maya Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai Samaveta Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai Shri Hari Naam Sankirtan Ki Jai Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to today's Sri Caitanya-Caritāmṛta class. Sri Caitanya-Caritāmṛta is one of the greatest gifts that Srila Prabhupada has given us. It is a book of exceptional quality and revelation on the science of devotional service. Before I say anything, I'd just like to let the devotees know that yesterday, on the auspicious day of Baimi Ekadashi, we started our campaign called Be a Gardener campaign. This campaign is a worldwide campaign which is focused on the distribution of Sri Caitanya-Caritāmṛta. So every year the devotees during this period in the build-up to Gaur Purnima make a special effort to distribute Sri Caitanya-Caritāmṛta. And the campaign is always called Be a Gardener, Sow the Seeds of Bhakti. And worldwide, the devotees have a goal this year of distributing 7,000 sets of Sri Caitanya-Caritāmṛta. So Bhaktivedanta Manor is one of the biggest centers in ISKCON, one of the most renowned centers, and we'd like to make our contribution towards this magnanimous goal. In the Sri Caitanya-Caritāmṛta, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I am a gardener and I reap fruits and I want to distribute these fruits. But I am only one person. How many of these fruits can I distribute by myself? So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu makes the appeal to his followers to distribute this fruit of love of Godhead that he's brought. And who else but the followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can take up this mission? Only his followers. Some devotees have some reservations, thinking that I've heard that Sri Caitanya-Caritāmṛta is the postgraduate study of the science of Krishna consciousness. So this book is reserved for a select few. But that's not the case. When Srila Prabhupada first printed the Sri Caitanya-Caritāmṛta, the devotees asked him, how many sets shall we print? And Prabhupada said, I think you should print 50,000 sets. And the devotees said, but Srila Prabhupada, in ISKCON, I don't think there's even 5,000 devotees. So if everyone gets a set, what are we going to do with the other 45,000 sets? And Prabhupada said, you go on the streets and you distribute to every person you see a set of Sri Caitanya-Caritāmṛta. So it's not actually true that this is reserved only for the select few. Srila Prabhupada wanted it to be distributed far and wide. So as Bhaktivedanta Manor, we have a goal to distribute 108 sets today. We have an enormous community here. If just 108 devotees feel, I'd like to take up this mission, to please Srila Prabhupada, and distribute one set of Sri Caitanya-Caritāmṛta during this period, we can easily achieve this goal. So the marathon run started yesterday, the 8th of February, and it runs all the way to Gaur Purnima, which is the 13th of March. So a humble appeal, dear devotees, please get involved. We'd like at least 188 devotees to keep one set of Sri Caitanya-Caritāmṛta in the boot of their car or at their home. And those books will be crying out to you, distribute me, distribute me, distribute me. One of the first laws of book distribution is get books. You can't distribute a book that you don't have. So dear devotees, if you feel inclined to do so, please see me after the class. Or if you don't get the opportunity to see me, email me at vrindavan.chandra@krishnatemple.com, and we'll tell you how you can get involved. We have so many events taking place, exciting events. We'll be going on the street, we'll be going door to door, we'll have book table, we'll be reaching out to other communities. We'll be having weekly classes where we'll be reading the 9th chapter of the Madhya-lilā. We'll be learning verses pertaining to the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So many things are going to be happening. We're going to be having some select speakers every Saturday speaking on some marvelous topics. So if you let me know, I'll send you the link by which you can join our WhatsApp group. Please, dear devotees, humble appeal, try to become involved in this mission. Oh yes, we have multiple languages: English, Tamil, Telugu, Punjabi, Gujarati. Even if you want some Eastern European languages, if they're printed, we can get them for you. So there's no restriction. So we'll continue reading from Sri Caitanya-Caritāmṛta Madhya-lilā, chapter number 13, entitled The Lord's Dancing at Ratha Yatra. And today we will be discussing and reading text number 67. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Bhakta Gane Anubhave Nahi Jane Ana Okay, let's try again. Bhakta Gana Anubhave Nahi Jane Ana Shri Bhagavata Shastra Tahate Pramana Bhakta Gana Anubhave Nahi Jane Ana Shri Bhagavata Shastra Tahete Pramana Bhakta Gana Anubhave Nahi Jane Ana Shri Bhagavata Shastra Tahate Pramana Bhakta Gana Anubhave Nahi Jane Ana Shri Bhagavata Shastra Tahete Pramana Shri Bhagavata Shastra Shri Bhagavata Shastra Taite Pramana. Bhakta Ganaya Anubhave Nai Jane Ana. Shri Bhagavata Shastra Taite Pramana. Bhakta Gane Anubhave Nai Jane Ana. Shri Bhagavata Shastre Taite Pramana. Bhakta Gana, all devotees, Anubhave, could perceive, Nahi Jane, do not know, Ana, others, Shri Bhagavat Shastra, the revealed scripture Srimad Bhagavatam. Tahate, in that connection, Pramana, evidence. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dancing before the Ratha Yatra cart could be perceived only by pure devotees. Others could not understand. Descriptions of Lord Krishna's uncommon dancing can be found in the revealed scripture, Srimad Bhagavatam. Please repeat after me. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dancing before the Ratha Yatra cart could be perceived only by pure devotees. Others could not understand. Descriptions of Lord Krishna's uncommon dancing can be found in the revealed scripture Srimad Bhagavatam. Purport. Lord Sri Krishna expanded himself into many forms while engaged in the Rasa-lila dance. And he also expanded himself when he married 16,000 wives in Dwaraka. The same process was adopted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he expanded himself into 7 forms to dance in each and every group of the Sankirtan party. These expansions were appreciated by pure devotees, including King Prataparudra. Although for reasons of external formality, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu refused to see King Prataparudra because he was a king. King Prataparudra became one of the Lord's most confidential devotees by the Lord's special mercy upon him. The king could see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu simultaneously present in all 7 groups. As confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam, one cannot see the expansions of the transcendental forms of the Lord unless one is a pure devotee of the Lord. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Tapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sahagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutan Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sitadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschacha Deshatarine. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, dear devotees, today we are reading this verse. We've also been requested, because it's the appearance day of Sri Varhadev, to speak something. This is a very interesting verse and there's much to be said. So let's see how we do. So the context, for those who are not familiar of where we are, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has a very sincere devotee called Maharaj Prataparudra. So Maharaj Prataparudra, he has been trying very difficult, very hard to get the darshan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, personal darshan, and meet and speak with the Lord. But the Lord, considering the king to be a worldly person, refuses to see him, at least externally. And Maharaj Prataparudra is feeling so much that he wants to receive the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he's not getting it. He's not getting it. So many pastimes take place in respect to Maharaj Prataparudra trying to get the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But in essence, that endeavor culminates in this part of the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the Ratha Yatra festival is taking place. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates, they get special privileges by the king to see many aspects, or witness many aspects of the ceremony of Ratha Yatra, like the bathing of Lord Jagannath and so on. So Lord Jagannath goes on his cart, and then the cart starts to move towards Gundicha temple. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu starts the Sankirtan. And he breaks up his associates into 4 groups. And each group has a lead singer, a lead dancer, 2 devotees playing mridanga, and the others singing in response. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu puts 4 groups in front of the cart. 1 group on the left side, 1 group on the right side, and another group behind. And he allocates to each group a lead singer, a lead dancer, mridanga players. And the kirtan starts. And it is said the kirtan is tumultuous. Something like has never been heard before. Unparalleled kirtan is going on. And in front of the cart, we have Maharaj Prataparudra, the king. He's sprinkling sandalwood water in front of Lord Jagannath's cart, and he's got his broom and he's sweeping the street. He's sweeping the street very humbly. Although he's the king, he's doing the service. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is witnessing. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is seeing the humility of the king. And he's feeling some special affection to the king. And then something quite extraordinary happens. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu expands himself into each of the 7 groups. And Mahaprabhu himself starts to dance. And he starts to dance in the mood of Srimati Radharani, as Radharaman Prabhu so wonderfully and expertly explained yesterday in class. He starts to dance in the 7 groups, jumping high, showing all of the signs of ecstasy. And the extraordinary part of this is only special people could see the Lord in the 7 forms. And generally it was only the close associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could see. But then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did something extraordinary. He gave Maharaj Prataparudra the vision to see all 7 expansions in each of the kirtan parties. And Maharaj Prataparudra was seeing this. And next to him was Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Kashi Mishra. And then they could see that he was seeing Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu not in one form but in 7 forms. And then immediately they said, "You got the special mercy. You got the special mercy, because only those with special mercy can see this." So in the purport, there are many points worth discussing. Srila Prabhupada says, Lord Shri Krishna expanded himself into many forms while engaged in the Rasa-lila. And he also expanded himself when he married 16,108 wives in Dwaraka. The same process was adopted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he expanded himself into 7 forms to dance in each and every group of the Sankirtan party. Now, I think this is worth discussing a bit, because Prabhupada uses the word "the same process." In yesterday's class and yesterday's verse and purport, it is stated there that the expansion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his dancing in these 7 kirtan parties is non-different to the dancing of Krishna in the Rasa-lila. And Radharaman Prabhu gave some explanation to that. There's many ways of looking at it. But we know that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. Once Srila Prabhupada was in a darshan with some guests. And he was speaking to the guests, and at some point in time he mentioned Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he turned to one of his disciples and he says, "Please tell them who is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu." And the devotee, the disciple, started off by saying, "Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is an incarnation of Krishna." And Prabhupada immediately stopped him. "No, he's not incarnation, he's Krishna himself." Not incarnation, he's Krishna himself. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. But only difference is in the mood of Srimati Radharani. I thought I would just read a little bit in terms of understanding. I hope I can find it. got so many things open. So in the three teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Srila Prabhupada speaks about, in chapter number 6, about the various incarnations of Lord Krishna. And now I can't find it. Let me try. I thought I'll read it because it's a bit technical and I wanted to... His forms are one and the same. So essentially, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained very nicely to Sanatana Goswami about Krishna's expansions and incarnations. And it's important for us to know, because, there's so many different expansions and incarnations of Lord Krishna. So I'll just read briefly because Srila Prabhupada summarized this for us. Prabhupada says, by devotional service, one can understand that Krishna, first of all, manifests himself as Swayam Rup. So Krishna is first Swayam Rup. His personal form. Then as Tad Ek Atma Rup, and then as Avesh Rup. It is in these three features that he manifests himself in his transcendental form. So devotees, Swayam Rup, then Tad Ekatma Rup, then Avesh Rup. So Swayam Rup, Tad Ekatma Rup, Avesh Rup. It is in these three features that he manifests himself in his transcendental form. The feature of Swayam Rup is the form by which Krishna can be understood by one who may not understand his other features. In other words, the form by which Krishna is directly understood is called Swayam Rup, or his personal form. The Tad Ek Atma Rup is that form which most resembles the Swayam Rup, but there are some differences in the bodily features. So this Swayam Rup, Tad Ek Atma Rup, some distinctions. Like Lord Balaram, he is said to be identical to Krishna in all respects. The only difference between Lord Balaram and Krishna is the color and also the mood. Like if you go and ask Krishna, who is God? Krishna will say, I am God. But if you go and ask Balaram, who is God? Balaram will say, Krishna is God and I am his servant. So although Balaram is exactly God, only his color is different, his mood is different. His mood is, I am the servant of God. So Tad Ekatma Rup. Tad Ekatma Rup is divided into two manifestations. The personal expansion, Swamsa, and the pastime expansion, Vilas. So Tad Ekatma Rup, Swamsa, Vilas. As far as the Avesh Rup is concerned, when Krishna, Jai Shri Radha Gokulananda ki Jai, Jai Shri Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ki Jai, Jai Shri Gaurnitai ki Jai. As far as the Avesh Rup is concerned, when Krishna empowers some suitable living entity to represent him, that living entity is known as Avesh Rup or Shakti Avesh Avatar. So Swayam Rup, Tad Ek Atma Rup, Avesh Rup. Tad Ekatma Rup is the form of Krishna, maybe some differences. And then Avesh Rup is empowered living entities. The personal form of Krishna can be divided into two. Where am I gone now? Yeah. Swayam Rup and Swayam Prakash. Sorry, I just went ahead of myself. From the Tad Ekatma Rup, you get Swamsa and Vilas. All right? Two forms, Swamsa and Vilas. One is pastime form is called Swamsa, and the the pastime form is called Vilas, and the personal form is called Swamsa. So the Swamsa form, the personal form, is divided into another two, Swayam Rup and Swayam Prakash. Swayam Rup is the pastimes that Krishna performs in Vrindavan. So Prabhupada says the personal form of Krishna can be divided into two, Swayam Rup and Swayam Prakash. As far as the Swayam Rupa pastime form is concerned, it is in that form that he remains always in Vrindavan with the inhabitants of Vrindavan. So Krishna, it is said, he never leaves Vrindavan. He is eternally in Vrindavan. And according to Srila Prabhupada, that is the pastime form, Swayam Rupa. And Prabhupada goes, for example, is to say, for example, Krishna expanded himself in multiple forms during the rasa dance in order to dance with each and every gopi who took part in that dance. Similarly, he expanded himself into 16,108 forms in Dwaraka when he married 16,108 wives. So Krishna is expanding himself. And Prabhupada says, is identical. And then Prabhupada makes the distinction, like some yogis, they can expand themselves also many times. But if one of the yogi forms is eating, all of the other forms can only eat. If one of the other yogi forms is walking, all of the other forms must be doing the same thing. They can't be doing something independent. But when Narad Muni went into Dwaraka and he saw Krishna in his 16,108 forms in his palaces, in each of those palaces, he was seeing Krishna do different things. And he was astounded about Krishna's potencies. So that's a very brief description because Prabhupada is saying here, this is the process. We should understand the process. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained the process because Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, one who understands me in truth, he comes back to me. Obviously, these things are revealed. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he's expanding himself into 7 forms, him being Krishna himself, he's expanding himself in this same form as Swayam Rup, pastime form, in the same way that Krishna expanded himself when he danced with the gopis in the rasa dance and he engaged in pastimes with the queens in Dwaraka. Is that okay? Yeah. It's a bit technical, but at least we can have some understanding. Now, the next part of the purport is very interesting. Srila Prabhupada is saying that these expansions can only be appreciated by pure devotees. And in the last sentence, Srila Prabhupada is saying that these expansions of Krishna can only be seen by his pure devotees. Now this whole process of seeing is called darshan. And it's very interesting to understand how we get the darshan of Krishna. It is said that the devotees of the Lord, they are always aspiring to get the darshan of Krishna. When will I see Krishna? Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in one of his songs, Kalyana Kalpataru, he says, Janama Safalatara, Krishna Dharashana Yara, Bhagya Hayache Ekabara. He says, in this lifetime, even if once I can get the darshan of Lord Krishna, then I will consider my life to be successful. Just once if I can get the darshan of Lord Krishna, then I can consider my life to be successful. So this is the aspiration of the devotees. When will I get the darshan of Krishna? Srila Prabhupada used to call George Harrison Shriman George Harrison. And George Harrison, he wrote the song, My Sweet Lord. And in that song he says, I really want to see you. I really want to be with you. And he prays to the Lord, when will this happen? And when Prabhupada heard of the song that George compiled, Prabhupada said, very nice. That is the mood of a devotee. Not that I have seen Krishna, but when will I see Krishna? When will that day come when I will get the darshan of Krishna? Now, there's some other interesting aspects to the darshan of Krishna. And Prabhupada is saying, only the pure devotees see Krishna. But when Krishna was here during Dwarapa Yuga, Shishupal was seeing Krishna. Dantavaktra was seeing Krishna. Kamsa was seeing Krishna. Jarasandha was seeing Krishna. So how does it work? Prabhupada is saying only the pure devotees see Krishna. Were they pure devotees of Krishna? No. And then we know the yogis, their meditation culminates in dhyan and then samadhi. They also, the yogis, when they perfect their yogic practices, they get to see the Lord. They get to see the Lord as Super Soul. Now we know generally the yogis, they are not considered to be pure devotees. At best they can be in Shantaras. So what is the distinctions then between the demoniac people saying Krishna, the devotees saying Krishna, and for us, what is the process that we'll get to see Krishna? And when will we see Krishna? Don't we want to know that? We are sadhakas. Listen, when will we get the darshan of Krishna? At what point? We know we are getting the darshan of Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda. That is Krishna in his Acha Vigraha form. And it's interesting, Srila Prabhupada, he very encouragingly says, I'll read a few extracts, Srila Prabhupada talking about seeing Krishna. And Prabhupada often talks about seeing Krishna face to face. So Prabhupada, in one letter to his disciple Jai Shri in 13 November 1969, he writes, Krishna, being the father of all living entities, is supplying the bare necessities of their life. But for his devotees, he has got special attention. So depend on Krishna, chant regularly Hare Krishna, and you will find that he is talking with you face to face. So depend on Krishna, chant regularly Hare Krishna, and you will find he's talking to you face to face. What to speak of supplying your necessities? This is a great science, and please try to understand it nicely. So Prabhupada is saying, depend on Krishna, chant Hare Krishna, and you'll see Krishna face to face. And then in one lecture in Los Angeles in December, 1969, Prabhupada speaks. So Prabhupada says, this is possible. If you want to become devotee of Krishna, then you can live with Krishna, face to face, talk with Krishna, eat with Krishna, dance with Krishna, even in this life. Even if this life, because Krishna is omnipotent. If you are really devotee of Krishna, he will talk with you, he will dance with you, he will eat with you, everything. Premanjana-Charita Bhakti-Vilochanena. Brahma Samhita 5:38. Again, this is bhakti by Bhakti Prem, love. Premanjana-Charita Bhakti-Vilochanena Santa Sadeva Santa, saintly person. This Sanskrit word Santa is also, I think, saint. And then Prabhupada goes on to say something slightly different. Slightly different. Now, how can one see? Krishna is already there. Ishvara Sarva Bhutana, Hriday Sha Arjuna Tishtati. The location is given there in the Bhagavad Gita. You cannot see. God is within your heart, not only for human beings, but also animals. So Prabhupada is saying that that's Krishna, you can see him in this lifetime within the heart. Now, dear devotees, there's two types of darshans of Krishna. One darshan is called Antar Darshan. That is the darshan we get of Krishna within the heart. And then there's another darshan we get is called Bahir Darshan. That is the darshan you see with the two eyes, face to face. The darshan with the two eyes, generally in Kali Yuga, it is very rare. Very rare. There are few instances where it happened. Like Rupa Goswami, Madhavendra Puri, and some others, they got to see Krishna with their two eyes. But generally, if you can think about it, where can we remember devotees seeing Krishna in that way? So generally, it is quite rare. In fact, there's a pastime in Sri Caitanya-Caritāmṛta where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Vrindavan. And while he was in Vrindavan, some devotees thought that they saw Krishna at night dancing on the hoods of Kaliya, serpent. So they were very excited. And one of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's assistants, his name was Balabhadra Bhattacharya. He ran to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he said, Mahaprabhu, the devotees are seeing Krishna dancing on the head of Kaliya serpent. Would you like to get the darshan? We can go. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, it's okay. It's okay. I don't want to get the darshan. So this was going on for a few nights. And every night Balabhadra Bhattacharya would come to Mahaprabhu and say, Mahaprabhu, they've seen Kaliya dancing on the hoods of, seeing Krishna dancing on the hoods of the serpent Kaliya. This darshan is taking place. Mahaprabhu said, no. And then Mahaprabhu spoke one verse. Krishna kene dharashana dibe kali kale nija brahme murka loka kare kolahale. And the translation is, this is from Sri Caitanya-Caritāmṛta Madhya-lilā, chapter number 18, text number 101. Why would Krishna give darshan in the age of Kali? Foolish people are mistaken as simply causing agitation and making a tumult. So Mahaprabhu is saying there, in Kali Yuga, Krishna generally does not give his darshan. So, how does the darshan take place? So, as I was explaining earlier, there are two types of darshan. The Antar Darshan and the Bahir Darshan. And let's just talk about the demons. Dear devotees, if you had a choice, maybe before I say that, the Antar Darshan is the darshan in the heart. And that is explained very nicely in the Brahma Samhita. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santa sadeva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shyama sundaram achinta gunaruswarupam govindam adipurusham tamaham bhajami. So the translation of this verse is, I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shyama Sundar, Krishna himself with inconceivable attributes, who the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love. So, Lord Brahma is saying here that the pure devotees, they see Krishna in the heart of hearts, Hridayeshu. They see Krishna in their heart. And Prabhupada says one whose heart is saturated with love, he is constantly seeing Krishna everywhere. Now let me ask you a question. If you had the choice to see Krishna with your eyes, but not with your heart, or to see Krishna, not see Krishna with your eyes, but to see him with your heart, what would you choose? What would you choose, Mataji? In your heart. You, Prabhu, what would you choose? Your heart. So the seeing of Krishna in the heart is called Antar Darshan. So the way it works is Sishupal, Dantavaktra, Jarasandha, Kamsa, they were seeing with their eyes, but their hearts was completely vacant of any bhav, any love. They had nothing there. So in essence, there was no experience. But the devotees, the pure devotees, who are constantly seeing Krishna within the heart, if Krishna is kind upon them and gives them the Bahir Darshan, then that is a completely different experience. It's a completely different experience because their heart is full of love. And in terms of Shastra, how do we understand when the darshan takes place for a sadhaka? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in one of his writings, he explains, the process from Shraddha to Prem. First there's Shraddha, then there's Sadhu Sangha, then there's Bhajana Kriya, then there's Anartha Nivritti, removing of the unwanted things in the heart. Then there is Nishtha, fixed. Then is Ruchi, taste. Then is Ashakti, attachment. Then it is Bhava, the first rays of the sun of Krishna Prem. And then there's Prema. There is Prema. And he explains it is only at the stage of Prema that the sadhakas get the true darshan of Krishna. Why is that? It's only at the stage of Prema that the heart is completely saturated with love. When Prabhupada talks and Lord Brahma talks about the eyes being anointed with the salve of love, only when the eyes are anointed with the salve of love can you see Krishna. Actually, it is explained, generally it is said that at the stage of Prema, the intensity of love is so profound that the body cannot take it. So, generally it's quite difficult to be at the stage of Prema and to exist within this body. But it is said, in this body, that's what Prabhupada says here, in this body, in this lifetime, you can see Krishna face to face. So what is Prabhupada meaning when he says that? Because it is said, at the stage of prema, this body ceases to be a material body. Prabhupada gives the example. If you take an iron rod and you hold it in fire for a while, after a while, the iron rod ceases to be iron. It emits heat, it emits light. It becomes fire when you hold the iron rod. You must have heard this analogy. So Prabhupada says the same way, this material body, when it becomes saturated with love of Krishna, it's no longer a material body. It becomes a spiritual body. Therefore, when we say we should never see the spiritual master as having a material body. So once Prabhupada landed in Australia, the reporters were saying, Swamiji, you got picked up in a Rolls Royce. What type of spirituality is that? And Prabhupada said, that's not an ordinary car, it's a spiritual car. And everybody is thinking, where did you ever heard of a spiritual car? Prabhupada was making the point, when something is used fully in the service of Krishna, 100%, it ceases to be. Because everything is Krishna's energy, isn't it? Everything is Krishna's energy. Everything we see, everything experience is Krishna's energy. It's only how we utilize it, how we see it, when it becomes material. When we want to enjoy it, it becomes material. Otherwise, everything is spiritual. So, when our bodies are saturated with the love for Krishna, then our eyes become anointed, and we can see Krishna. But generally, that's not so rare. Like in Vrindavan, Krishna goes to the pasturing grounds in the morning. The gopis are behind in Vrindavan. They are not seeing Krishna face to face. They are seeing Krishna in his heart. They are so absorbed. Krishna, Mother Yashoda is seeing Krishna's shoes. Immediately, she's completely saturated with thoughts of Krishna. She's with Krishna. And the gopis are remembering their pastimes with Krishna. So the real darshan is the antar darshan, the darshan of the heart. And that is accessible to everyone, depending on our state of consciousness. So Prabhupada is saying here, Maharaj Prataparudra, there were thousands and thousands of people in the Ratha Yatra, and they were not seeing the seven forms. But Maharaj Prataparudra, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being pleased with him, he gave him the Bhair Darshan, because his heart was so pure with love for Krishna. So maybe I'll pause at this stage and speak something about Lord Varahadev. It's very nice. We've got a photograph of Lord Varahadev on the altar today. So I'll read one verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, chapter number 7, chapter entitled Scheduled Incarnations with Specific Functions. And this is text number 1. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Brahma uvacha Yatro dayanta shititalo darayana piprat. No, that's not the right meter. Yatro dayata sititalo darayanaya piprai Krodim tanum shakala yagnamayim anantaha Antar mahalnava upagatam addi daitam tam dam shrayadrimi vajradaro dadara. Lord Brahma said, when the unlimitedly powerful Lord assumed the form of a boar as a pastime just to lift the planet Earth, which was drowned in the great ocean of the universe called the Garbhodaka, the first demon, Hiranyaksha, appeared, and the Lord pierced him with his tusk. I'll read the purport. Srila Prabhupada explains everything so nice. Since the beginning of creation, the demons and the demigods or the Vaishnavas are always the two classes of living beings to dominate the planets of the universe. Lord Brahma is the first demigod and Hiranyaksha is the first demon in the universe. Who's the first demon? Hiranyaksha. And the first devotee? Lord Brahma. Only under certain conditions do the planets float as the weightless balls in the air. And as soon as these conditions are disturbed, the planets may fall down into the Garbhodaka ocean which covers the universe. So the universe is described like a big shell, with like an emptiness inside, and at the bottom you got the Garbhodaka ocean, and then you have planets that are floating around. And Prabhupada is saying here, each of those planets, they have to have very specific conditions to float. If those conditions are disturbed, they don't float anymore. So it happened once in the history of the planet Earth that Hiranyaksha, he was digging so much of gold. He was just going mad after gold. And he completely upset the conditions of the Earth planet. And as Prabhupada says here, they are floating, and if you upset it, what happens? You fall. It cannot be weightless anymore. The Earth is weightless. And if it's disturbed, it loses its capability to be weightless. So Hiranyaksha, he disturbed it, and it fell into Garbhodaka ocean. That's what Prabhupada is saying here. The other half is the spherical dome within which the innumerable planetary systems exist. The floating of the planets in the weightless air is due to the inner constitution of the globes, and the modernized drilling of the earth to exploit oil from within is a sort of disturbance by the modern demons, and can result in a greatly harmful reaction to the floating condition of the earth. The devotees, Prabhupada is saying we may need Lord Varaha then again soon. Because all this drilling of oil is upsetting the weightlessness. So don't forget Lord Varaha Dev. We are causing problems. A similar disturbance was created formerly by the demons headed by Hiranyaksha, the great exploiter of the gold rush. And the earth was detached from his weightless condition and fell down into the Garbhodaka ocean. The Lord, as the maintainer of the whole creation of the material world, therefore assumed the gigantic form of a boar with a proportionate snout and picked up the earth from within the water of Garbhodaka. So Prabhupada is saying that's Krishna as being the supreme father of all living entities. When there's a disturbance, he feels it's his responsibility to do something about it. So when the earth was disturbed, Lord thought to himself, I must do something about it. And then he appears as Lord Varahadev. And then Prabhupada quotes Srila Jayadev Goswami in his Das Avatar Stotra. Vasati dashana shikare dharani tavalagna shashini kalanka kaleva nimagna keshavadrita shukara rupa jaya jagati shahari. O Keshav, O Supreme Lord, who has assumed the form of a boar, O Lord, the earth rested on your tusks, and it appeared like the moon engraved with spots. Such is the symptom of the incarnation of the Lord. The incarnation of the Lord is not the concocted idea of fanciful men who create an incarnation out of imagination. So Prabhupada is giving us sometimes a warning. We may not be able to relate sometimes to Lord Varahadev as his boar incarnation, but we should understand it is completely transcendental, and it is a beautiful form. The incarnation of the Lord appears under certain extraordinary circumstances like the above mentioned occasion, and the incarnation performs a task which is not even imaginable by the tiny brain of mankind. The modern creators of the many cheap incarnations may take note of the factual incarnation of God as the gigantic boar with a suitable snout to carry the earth planet. When the Lord appeared to pick up the earth, the demons of the name Hiranyaksha tried to create a disturbance in the methodological functions of the Lord, and therefore he was killed by being pierced by the Lord's tusks. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, the demon Hiranyaksha was killed by the hand of the Lord. Therefore his version is that being killed by the hand of the Lord, after being killed by the hand of the Lord, the demon was pierced by the tusk. Srila Vishnava Chakravarti Thakur confirms this version. So dear devotees, a lot of time we see Lord Varahadev with the club. Isn't it? That's the famous picture we are familiar with. Here Bhagavatam is saying he was killed by the tusks. So is the picture we're seeing wrong? No. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, first the Lord killed him with his hand. And after he killed him with his hand, he pierced him with the tusks. And killed him more, if there's such a thing as killing him one more. Srila Vishnava Chakravarti confirms this version. Okay, I think I'll stop here. Any questions, comments by anyone? Yes, Mataji.
I've heard that you were talking about seeing Krishna in your heart.
Yes.
You were talking about Krishna, seeing Krishna in your heart, and I read somewhere that you could only see Krishna from your heart. You can't see Krishna from your material eyes. And I was just wondering how that fits in with the demons could see Krishna. And whether I got it completely wrong.
I mean, I could quote a few verses from different acharyas, but certainly, and we know it happened, that the demons, they had no bhav for Krishna in their heart, but they were seeing. So in Kali Yuga, it is said generally, and there are many texts and verses that quote that, generally, you don't see Krishna with the eyes in Kali Yuga. You see him only within the heart. And when you do see, it's more the exception than the norm. But when Krishna was here, he came for a specific purpose. Those exceptions were made, and they could see. But generally, you are quite right. In Kali Yuga, you only see within the heart. But there are always exceptions. Always exceptions. Is that okay, Mataji? Hare Krishna. Yes, Damodar Prabhu.
Thank you for the class. My question is about, you mentioned about in terms of the Shakti Avesh avatars, and I was just thinking about Lord Parashuram, and in the Shisa Upanishad he's mentioned as a Vishnu Tattva. That's why I was just a bit confused if he's Vishnu or no, the Lord or Jiva.
Parashuram.
Yes.
Lord Parashuram is listed as the 10 incarnations in Das. It's Das avatar, isn't it? Before Ram. And all of the Das avatars are Vishnu Tattva. No, because Lord Brahma is not, Buddha is not, isn't it? Yeah. Parashuram is not. I'm not sure, Damodar Prabhu, I may have to research it. If anyone knows better, please enlighten us, dear devotees. But I'll find out and I'll let you know. Govinda Prabhu, do you know?
Well, for example, Vyasadeva is normally Shakti.
Yes.
Sometimes he comes as Vishnu himself.
Yes.
So it might be the case, Parashuram too, maybe Parashuram is Shakti, but occasionally Vishnu comes to Parashuram.
It could be, yeah. Different things happen. As Prabhupada says, sometimes Lord Brahma is a jiva, and when there's not a qualified jiva, then Krishna takes the place of Lord Brahma. And that'll be Vishnu Tattva. So, yeah, thank you for that. Yes.
Going back to the previous question. So in the Bhagavad Gita, aham naham sarvasya.
Prabhava.
Yogamaya. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavata.
Yeah.
The demons, they can't see Krishna. So could we say that Kamsa, Dantava, etc. didn't actually see Krishna? They saw some illusory yogamaya covering. So can we call it Bhagavad Darshan or no?
That's an interesting point. That were they actually seeing Krishna? Or was that some sort of an illusory form that Krishna was allowing them to see? I'm not sure.
Yeah, because another example, the demons never saw Rukmini. They saw an illusory form, which was still so beautiful they fell off their horses.
Yes.
So it's this group.
Yeah. That's an interesting point. It'll be worth trying to understand it. Yes, Prayojan Prabhu.
Well, I didn't really have a comment, but what I will say is about the ecstasy that felt by Mahaprabhu. He says, oh yeah, here we go. Nayanam Galadata Duraya Vadanam Gadat Gada Hridaya Pulakanda Chittam Vapukata Tavanamagrani Bhavishyati. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love, flowing constantly when I chant your holy names? When will my voice choke up? And when will the hairs of my body stand on end? And then he says, O Govinda, I'll just speak the next verse. It says, O Govinda, I'm feeling your separation and considering a moment like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. And that's classic of, you could say, Mahaprabhu's mood, his separation, is talked about in so many ways by so many people. Yeah, that's the thing that occurs to me.
Thank you for sharing that. Anything else from anyone? Questions, comments, reflections? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for the class. Just had a question about Antardarshan. So you described a lot about the heart being filled with emotions for Krishna and like Yashoda and the gopis seeing Krishna when he's one approach is when your heart is filled with emotions. So similar to like another example is like me thinking a lot about my mother and having a lot of emotions for her, and therefore when I close my eyes, I might just visualize her. But what is the difference between that and actually having Antardarshan? Like, how does Antardarshan work? Like, do you see Krishna in your heart? Does he talk to you in your heart? What happens in Antardarshan?
I haven't had it yet, so difficult for me to say. But the understanding is, like I was giving the example of the gopis, like in Goloka Vrindavan, it's the same situation. Krishna is not physically present, but you're so absorbed, you're just so absorbed in thoughts of Krishna, you are with him. When you are so absorbed in the pastimes, you are with. What does it mean to be with a person? You are completely absorbed in thoughts, and you are interacting with them in the pastime and so on. You are with Krishna. You are with Krishna because you're completely connected with emotions and love. But it's a difficult question for me to answer because it's out of my experience. You meet a pure devotee, you can ask them.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. All right, thank you. Oh, you want? Yeah.
Somebody mentioned the other day that one of our devotees, she said she was a very good book distributor, and she said one thing is I can't see Krishna, even when I look at the deities, but when I'm distributing books, I feel that Krishna is closer to me there. And the Mother of Kindness said to me, yes, this is a sign of advancement.
Yeah.
You are seeing Krishna.
Yeah.
You're experiencing in your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in your service that you see Krishna.
True. Bilvabha Mangala Thakur, he took the hairpins and he pierced his eyes. And after he became blind, Krishna was playing with him, doing tricks with him,
Yeah.
Who knows? It's mystical, but he'll be revealed to us one day, hopefully, in truth. Hare Krishna. Jai Sri Caitanya-Caritāmṛta ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Lord Varahadev ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Bol.